Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our Sunday morning call-in show for this Sunday, March 10th, 2024. This is number 110 in the series of call-ins. We're moving right along on the charts with this show. We would be even further along, but I take a break every once in a while because I either have matters to attend to or need to just tend to myself. But I am glad to be here this morning with you all. I hope that you all have, risen with your proper frame of mind. I hope that you are blessed in your travels and just ready for some solid boxing talk this morning. It's funny, we do this and sometimes people think that you run on batteries, huh? But even if you were to run on batteries, batteries need to be recharged or replaced, huh? Yeah. And I forgot this morning that time springs forward. So once I realized the hour, I was like an hour behind of where I would ordinarily be on a Sunday morning. So I was hard pressed to get everything done. I had bills to pay. I had to take care of my duties of, getting freshened up and trying to get a little food in me before the show. And man, I'm like, whoa. So I just did make the cut on time. I like being punctual, being on time. I know that's something that a lot of us out here don't adopt the same philosophy on, but I'm going to tell you something. When you do make that a practice, having a sense of order and structure in your life will lead to other things falling in place as well. So it's just something to bear in mind, being nicknamed the sensei. I say these things, but it's not like I'm trying to dictate anything to anybody. I'm trying to help those just like I've been helped, and we can get through and along this path together. But yeah, being prepared, being on time, it means something still, even in this world that we currently find ourselves. Punctuality is not to be taken for granted. And many do. Many do. See, we got people filing into the building. It's good to see you all. We'll have a roll call in just a moment. Coming out of this weekend of a pay-per-view event, which was DAZN's Joshua versus Ngannou card, I'm kind of anxious to see the reactions of how people felt coming out of that event. I've seen some videos online. I've seen some live streams and reaction, post-fight stuff, and it's funny. There are some people who, of course, the ones who say, I knew it all the time. And then there are others who are like over the moon, let's say. But you got to keep your feet on solid ground. You got to keep your head in a proper place. Can't get too far ahead of yourself, and you don't want to lag too far behind. But there are some things transpiring that should call some sense of reality. And hopefully we could talk about that a little bit this morning as well. Yeah. I thought I'd play a little bit of an upbeat tune for you this morning, because to feel upbeat is a good thing, a positive thing. Man, let me tell you, Stormy had a bump on the head yesterday that, if it wasn't a concussion, it was about as close to a concussion as it could be. The only thing I didn't do was lay down like Francis Ngannou. But I wanted to. Listen. I was kind of out of it from that. Maybe that's why I didn't remember to set my clocks like I was supposed to for today. I just wasn't all there, man. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Okay, we're going to see who we got in the building now. We got Stephen L. out there saying, good morning, Sensei. What's good with you, Stephen L? Tay Tay, the real queen of MMA and Combat Talk, is in the building saying, good morning, Sifu. Yeah, Tay Tay, your video on Curtis Blades. I went to high school with his dad. We were in the same graduating class. Curtis Blades. Curtis used to play on the basketball team. He was always a tall brother, like 6'3.5" or so. But his sons grew up to be bigger than him. I'm like, man, when we was in high school, because I was only about 6 foot tall in high school, so Curtis was a few inches taller. But his sons, they tower over him. It was like, he got some big boys. But yeah, Blades Jr., he's out there. He's been competing in MMA for a few years, and he's doing moderately well. I've tuned in and checked him out. I give him credit for what he's doing. And his dad is a proud papa, So yeah, I checked your video out on that. JDM is out there saying, afternoon, Stormy from England. What's good with you, JDM? Hope all is well over there in the UK. Huh? Mind of Mansa Musa is in the building saying, salute, Sensei. with that fist pound, 100. Appreciate you as well. Sam Mack, Boxing TV says, salute Sensei. What's good with you? 704 Joe is in the building saying, peace. T-Berry's out there saying, peace, Stormybman in chat. Gordon Liu, emojis. Messenger 215 is back with us saying, Grand Rising, what's happening with you? Jay Grant Jr. is back after a little while away saying, salute Stormy B, what's going on with you? Eric Jordan is out there saying, Stormy B man, salute Sensei, with those Gordon Liu Pai Mei emojis. Yeah. My man, Trick Noti out there, the man who is always making the connections for us. He's in the building saying, what's good? What's happening with you this morning, man? He said, what's good this morning? Hey, man, it's good to be up. I know that. It's good to be up, brother. And Geo James Khalil is out there saying, salute, King. What's happening with you, brother? What's happening? So, yeah, we're coming in here this morning on the heels of this pay-per-view. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it was okay. You know, at least they didn't charge $100 for that, you know. But I tell you, man, if they're going to keep on doing this, they're going to have to make real fights and not just events. And the people can be misinformed with they coming out with these matches that are being sold as fights, but they're more events than they are fights. I'm tired of seeing crossover sports men and women try to compete in my beloved sport, where my supported contenders can't get the title shots that they deserve and desire, because this foolishness of this event first, and it appears that the promoters that the Saudis are working with are seemingly there to sell that. You see, that's being disingenuous, because the promoters are now trying to say that you all want to see events over matches. Listen, the WWE has events. The slams, the whatever they call the big annual wrestling matches, showdowns or whatever, those are events. Boxing doesn't need events. Boxing needs its matches to take place. It needs these promoters to come together and work together. That's what we need. Don't let them sell you on things. Yeah, there you go, Stephen L. I couldn't think of it. You know how sometimes you be talking and you be trying to think of something. WrestleMania, yeah. Those are the events. We don't need events like that in the sport of boxing. We need the matches to take place. Because first of all, there are multiple divisions. And now, due to the corruption of the sport as well, multiple championships can be fought. So you don't need an event. Do you guys who are old enough to remember when Don King used to produce these promoted cards that would have like anywhere between 3 to 5 champions defending their titles on a pay-per-view card? Those were similar to events, but they were still matches because you saw the quality of the sport being manifest through those promotions. And though Don King was a personality who could take over, he could be out front, but he was always promoting his guys. He was always saying, "This is the best guy you ever seen." He would be saying these things, but his personality was and his presence was so engaging. He was all that you focused on sometimes. But man, he promoted some of the best fighters in the sport and put on some of the best fight cards in the sport. And though people have tried to emulate his success financially, they've forgotten how to put the fights together. And one of the ways that Don went about that is to secure fighters fighting under his promotional group. And sometimes when you defeated one of his guys, he would have options on your career to promote a future fight or two of yours. Now that's a monopoly, but taking the monopoly out of it, what is there to not make fighters try to be the best that they can be if the threat of losing something isn't present? Currently, what you're seeing in that is that these unnecessary rematch clauses in fights. Now, I understand that two champions can come together and face one another, and that be a situation where one of the champs loses title, we're going to come back and run it back again. But if the champ that lost his title gets a severe beatdown, is a rematch really necessary? Or should there be a fight in between for the guy that got beat down to show that he can come back? But we saw over the weekend Joseph Parker defeated Zhilei Zhang, and rightfully so, even rising from the canvas 2 times in that match. And Zhang had all of the output of a 2-minute brother, in that fight. Zhang bust his caps with flavor, and by the 3rd round, he was a spent chamber. Bars. Yeah! Think about it. There's a lot to be, taken into consideration, man. A lot. I just don't believe that we should have unnecessary fights, because the game should roll forward. Like I said, without the threat of losing anything, without the threat of something truly being on the line, fighters shouldn't be, so arrogant about their position in the sport and be like, okay, well, I'm good still. No, if you lose, you got to get back in line. you know, and it shouldn't be like just a given or you just grant it, you know. It's ridiculous. NBA D Nice is in the building. Eric Jordan says Don knew how to promote and also made a lot of quality fights out of the best fighting the best. Yes, he did. He says Zhang was trying to end the fight early, but that was his downfall. Listen, man. You know how they're now saying that after Ngannou's performance against Joshua, that people are even sold more on the fact that maybe Tyson Fury didn't train for Ngannou? I'm inclined to believe that Zhang didn't train for Parker. Coming in at damn near 300 pounds. And even in this shot that I got on this screen right here, you can see this shot. You see that tub of lard that's hanging over his waistline, his belt, waistband of his trunks? That's about 30 pounds right there. That's about 30 pounds. And I'm going to tell you something. You guys should protest the rematch because Parker just going to get him again. And now that Parker has been in there with him once, he can gauge how to stay away from the guy's dangerous shots. He'll always be a little bit dangerous because he's a southpaw. And Parker isn't as versed in fighting as many southpaws as he is orthodox fighters. But Parker is a smart fighter. He has ring IQ. And all he has to do is get Zhang past 3 to 4 rounds, and then the fight begins for him. Zhang has the conditioning of a fat guy at a buffet, huh? And we know the guy at the buffet is going the distance, huh? Either his stomach will burst or they're going to run out of food. One or the other. And since we saw Zhang burst and couldn't even throw a punch in the 12th round, what was that? Huh? When he probably threw about 25 all in total, huh? Because he wasn't letting his hands go at all. Do you want to see that again is what I'm trying to say. Who wants to see that again? Nobody. The messenger says, "You definitely not lying. This boxing super messy." Yeah, it is. And I blame some of these promoters. And I blame people like the Sheik over there. You could throw all these dollars at these men, but there's no accountability. Nobody is under the obligation of being professional. That's what I don't like. See, the money erodes your ethics even more because you now feel entitled. You feel privileged. There were fighters from a bygone era who, of course, they appreciated $1 just like anyone else. But they took more value in their craft. There are fighters presently now who will say after Joshua's performance over Ngannou about Fury that he kind of let boxing down. He kind of gave boxing a black eye because he should have done to Ngannou what Joshua did to him. X, Y, Z. But let me dial that back for a moment for you guys who listen to this content on this channel. Have I not been saying that Tyson Fury isn't what's advertised? But these guys, the professionals now, who are now coming out saying that he let boxing down. I just heard an interview with Robert Garcia a little while ago before I went live. I was listening to him in his interview while I was preparing for this show. And he said that Fury let boxing down. He's not the only one to have said it. So I'm not throwing him under a bus. But what I'm getting at is this. If you felt like that, why didn't you say it from the start? If you know he's not as good as advertised, if you know that he's been cheating, if you know that he has compromised the sport and has been misrepresenting in the sport since he's had access to the WBC title, why haven't you been saying these things? Is it because you're trying to find some type of commonplace with the complexion? The truth knows no complexion. It's black and white. These people have turned their heads at Fury, a recreational drug abuser, a performance-enhancing drug user, a person who has manipulated equipment, been associated with possibly tainting opponents, and boasting about it, speaking about it, saying that he knows about it. But people who could have said something and shined a spotlight on it have remained silent. And then there's that nickname, the Gypsy King. That's all you got to say right there. That's all you got to say. My man Trick Nolte says, Joshua to me didn't appear to be in shape. He had a gut pack. I feel we're going to see the battle of the sexes at some point. The integrity has gone from boxing. Seems Zane left his stamina. Yeah. Well, Trick, I feel that he was in shape. And he was laser focused because he knew the deal. He could not let that guy beat him, because even as I talked about in my pre-fight video, I was like, is this a trap? Because Joshua needed to have a blowout performance, let's say. He couldn't go the distance with this guy. He couldn't let this guy land something lucky on him. He couldn't let this guy shake him up, knock him down or out. So he did take care of business. Now, let's correctly assess, since we're shifting to discussing Joshua and Ngannou. Let's not forget that this man that Joshua fought was 0-1 as a professional. No prior amateur experience whatsoever in the boxing ring. I don't care if he was training with Ron Van Cleef. It don't matter. He wasn't in there with none of these guys. And most of the professional heavyweights, most of them, have at least a few fights amateur. Most professional fighters have been boxing since they were children. Not necessarily heavyweights, because there are guys who run out there and grab heavyweights now because they see a guy with his size, his mass, and sometimes athleticism, and they look at them and figure, like, I'm going to get him in boxing. Just like a guy with a lot of height, a basketball coach want to pull him into the gym to be on the team because he's got height. You can't coach height, huh? But Joshua blowing this guy out in 2 rounds. It should have been 1 round, really, because the bell saved him in 1 round. But that's what he was supposed to do at the end of the day. And all of these people who have celebrated this victory like he has really knocked out and slew some beast. He did not. If Ngannou did that to him in 2 rounds, then I could see that type of a support and heat around the event of the happenings and all of that. But no. Did you see how Joshua behaved after the fight was over? He just kind of sauteed around the ring. Sauntered, I mean, not sauteed. He sauntered around the ring. It was really no big deal, because that was supposed to happen. And some people may have even taken that as a little bit of an arrogance of Joshua's behavior. But I didn't really look at it like that, even though it could be that existed. But it's like, man, I'm glad that's over with, because now we can move on. He didn't do that to Joseph Parker. And it took him 7 rounds to get rid of Robert Helenius. And if you saw how he looked when the fight with Helenius was over, Joshua was bleeding from the nose, face kind of marked up. When he fought Jermaine Franklin, same thing. Now people are saying, well, he didn't have that intensity with Franklin and everything. He didn't have the intensity because Franklin was capable. He had shown in a fight against Dillian White that he belonged in the heavyweight division. Jermaine Franklin could have did to Ngannou what Joshua did to him. Joseph Parker could have possibly done to Ngannou what Joshua did to him. But Tyson Fury was never as advertised, people. He was never as advertised. And that's the worst part. That we've had about 3 to 4 years of foolishness. And Fury was never made to fight another contender. What contender has Fury fought outside of Wilder and Klitschko? He made out of Wallin, didn't he? With that lackluster performance against Wallin. He made Ngannou, didn't he? Do you remember what happened when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor? Floyd carried McGregor like he was a baby in a crib. Huh? And when Floyd decided that this shall end, that's exactly what happened. Joshua couldn't afford to carry Ngannou because big men like that punch with what he can punch with and things. You don't play with that. You get that on up out of there. And that's what he did. Fury couldn't get him up out of there because Fury ain't a knockout puncher like that. He never has been. Remember, I spoke earlier about the assistants that he's had. Manipulated gear, substances, cheating. He wasn't allowed to cheat against Ngannou. Sugar Hill told us he taught him how to turn his punches over, so now he punches with punching power. It's the first time in boxing history. If that be the case, sweet and low, I never bought into that foolishness. Never. Mansa Musa, you're correct there. 1,000. We're going to open it up a little bit. Let's see what you guys got to say about this. Now let's talk about it. I know one thing. I don't want to see Zhilei Zhang again, ever. Ever. What a pathetic performance by someone who wants to boast and brag that he bangs people out. He bangs a few meals out. We could tell that, huh? Rotund and no fun, huh? All that gut hanging over his waistband. Nah. I ain't cutting him no slack, huh? He ain't cut no slack or no fat off of what he's indulged in. Came in even heavier than when he faced off against who was that he faced off? Joe Joyce. He was 278 against Joyce in their first fight, 287 in the rematch, and 291 in this fight. If you go back to February of 2021 against Jerry Forrest, he was 256 and a quarter. This tells you all you need to know. His lightest weight was in May of 2016 against John Orr. He weighed 249 and a half. If you don't get the lard up out of here, I am not going to buy that foolishness from this guy. And you got to give credit to the guys who go out and perform. A la Joseph Parker, who has pretty much faced everybody. Parker has faced Wilder, Joyce, Chisora, Junior Fa, Dillian White, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, Carlos Takam. That's one of the best resumes in the heavyweight division, if you ask me. And he's 32 years old, 35-3 with 23 KOs. Been stopped once by Joe Joyce. Parker was 247 and a half, challenging Zhang. And you could see muscles in his body. When he was stopped by Joe Joyce, he was 255 and a quarter. Much too heavy. The lines are open. You want to discuss? Let's discuss. No takers, huh? It's a shame. Almost 100 views. Only 29 likes. 25 current viewers. Nobody wants to talk boxing. But you guys be complaining that people don't talk boxing. Wow. What a conundrum. Come on, chat. You ain't got nothing for me? Okay, we got 864 in the building. Who's calling? What's on your mind?
Hello, Sensei. It's Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa, what's happening, man? Good morning with you. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm great, my way, King. Peace and blessings, man. Grand rising.
Same to you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. But yeah, everything you say, I totally agree with. I watched the fights or whatever, and like I said, I seen it coming with Ngannou, you know, as far as the background boxing, whatever. But I was hoping he would land something on Joshua to get him, you know what I'm saying, down or just to knock some sense into him. But I was saying the same thing when I was speaking on somebody else's channel that he only fought a guy over one, you know, really with no real boxing background. So I mean, really, what did you do but just put on the show? Or as entertainment, like some Jake Paul stuff. This could have been on the Jake Paul card, but he really didn't do nothing. But every time you face a good boxer or a fighter, you basically get exposed. Like you said, against Robert Iranians, you was bleeding.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Against some other guys, they basically had you bleed up or down, but you won barely. And then you fought Usyk twice. A little guy, he outboxed you and embarrassed you.
There you go. And see, that's all I'm talking about, is that to keep it in proper perspective. As far as an event, oh, they sold some tickets. Oh, and they got, you know, they got some people to tune in. But seriously, that's all that was. You know, that's all that was. And let's not get beside ourselves about it. You got guys now, they running back and making videos and everything like Joshua knocked out Usyk and got his belts back or something.
Yeah, yeah.
He couldn't even beat Usyk in back-to-back fights.
Yeah, twice. You didn't figure him out at the second time. I'm like, come on. If that's the case, you're supposed to have done that to a real boxer who was called Usyk.
And see, this is the whole thing. It gave Eddie Hearn, and I don't like to talk about this, man, but it becomes pertinent, you know, to subject matter. But it got him talking crazy and out of his mind. He said that Joshua is the best heavyweight in the world. He's never seen a knockout like that in his life. He's talking about how Joshua is the king of the division and this and that. But if the last time I checked, he lost 2 in a row to a guy who's got the belts that he used to have. 2 in a row. And one of the fights he almost got stopped in. They rang the bell early in the first fight.
10 seconds early, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I think like 10 seconds early.
I think the you know, because in the last minute of a round, any round, they have the clock on the screen, and they usually take the clock off of the screen when it's like under, I think it's somewhere under 30 seconds to 20 seconds or something like that. So you counting the seconds down to the end of the round if you're watching on TV. But dude, when they took that clock off the screen in that fight, like 2 seconds later they was ringing the bell, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And there was a guy.
He was up against the rope.
There was a guy in Joshua's corner who stood up waving a towel like this. What was that? The bat signal?
Yeah.
See, people don't think about these things, but we talk about them, we discuss them, and then they come out and they attack us. But see, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to tell you the truth. Because guess what? DAZN ain't going to tell you the truth. ESPN ain't going to tell you the truth. PBC ain't going to tell you the truth. Huh? They're not. They're gonna talk their fighters under the floor because they're selling you something. Well, we're not here to be sold. We're not even here to buy. We're here to just let it fly. That's it.
Right.
And you're right.
And I mean,
this guy.
It's all truth though.
Yeah.
It ain't like we lying. It's all truth.
And when you look at who he's fought, it's like, dude, he was struggling against Hellenius.
Yeah.
But people made fun of Wilder time. Oh, you're fighting your sparring partner. But when Joshua fought him, but when Joshua fought Helenius and finally knocked him out in the 7th round, where I don't even know why Helenius got knocked out like that, because he was almost like he said, please hit me and let me lay down. But anyway, 7 rounds of foolishness, and then they talk about, whoa, that's the right hand of Joshua and this and that. And I'm like, dude, Joshua's nose is busted. His face is marked up. He was in a fight.
Yeah, he looked tired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Helenius wasn't even hardly fighting that much. So what's going to happen if somebody competes against him? What's going to happen if somebody competes against him? That's what I want to know.
And see, that's my thing I was going to go into. Quote unquote, he's back after beating an 0-1 MMA fighter. He's back. So now who you facing? Wilder? Huh? Zane? Ergovich? Now who you going to fight?
Listen, this is funny.
That's my next question. Like, who is you going to fight now?
This is funny to me. You know why? Because I look at Joseph Parker. Now, any of us who are truly Wilder supporters, and I'm not talking about just sounding the alarm for Wilder. I'm talking about real supporters. We know that that wasn't the Wilder that comes to compete, regardless of whatever his thing is. And I'm not making any excuses. He lost the fight. But where I was going with mentioning him is that Joseph Parker has faced, and I said it moments before you called, he faced possibly the best heavyweights in the world on his resume. He's got 3 losses. However, he's been knocked down. He's been knocked out. He's been dropped and got up and won. This man needs more credit given to him than Joshua does, because he has persevered and come back from the brink. We haven't seen Joshua come back from the brink yet. The rematch against Andy Ruiz came in woefully overweight rather, in the rematch, and couldn't do a damn thing. He could barely move in the ring. And Joshua stayed away from the guy the whole time, peppering him with shots from the outside or hugging him to death, and he won a decision that way. Then, when he lost to Usyk, they figured like, well, we'll fight him in a rematch right away. I don't think that Hearn really wanted to make Joshua fight him again right away, but what Hearn was worried about was losing control of the heavyweight division, those belts. And when Usyk beat him a second time and Joshua had the emotional breakdown and all of that stuff, you know, that still was never dealt with, right? It was never dealt with.
Exactly.
They act like it didn't happen. But even since then, he's had some stupid shit happen that make me realize he's not a mentally strong man. Well, what do you mean, Stormy? Does anybody recall the 12th and final round against Jermaine Franklin? And when the bell rang for the end of the fight, what happened right after that?
Yeah.
Tell us, Mansa Musa, what remind everybody what happened when the bell rang after the fight was over. What happened?
He pushed him in the face.
He went over there and got in front of him and put his forehead to his forehead like he really wanted to fight for real and everything. But you just had 12 rounds to go after this guy.
You know, yeah.
And now you want to play tough and badass when they got all security and everything in the ring. But when it was legal for you to go upside the guy's head, you were standing on the outside. What the hell was that?
That's what I don't understand. Yeah. He off to me like Joshua strikes me as a guy that, yeah, he can box, yeah, he's big and strong, but it's something really wrong with him up top though, like really, like mentally, like really, like he ain't got it together, and we actually see it in real time.
He's what they refer to in professional sports as a mental midget. That's what he is.
Yeah,
He really is.
He's basically Floyd Mayweather with a big body.
And you know what's jacked up? And I'm glad you just said it because you actually beat me to it. I was gonna say he looks the part. He looks like a monster. He looks like, whoa, this guy. You know what I mean? But dude, that's a freaking facade.
Yeah. Big, but he's soft on the inside.
You ever heard that story? And forgive me, because I'm getting old now. I don't remember everything. But the story about the brave lion in the jungle, and he scared all the other animals and everything, but he got a splinter in his toe or something. Remember? And he was crying. Ooh, ooh. And everybody was wondering, what's wrong with the lion? And the lion had a little boo-boo. You know, he was the baddest animal in the jungle, but when he got a splinter in his paw, he was crying. Ooh, ooh. Is this guy? That's him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, them muscles and everything, it don't mean nothing, bro. It don't.
Yeah, man.
But it's funny because if you listen to the media, they will shift things on you and have you, well, maybe they're right. No, they're selling. That's called marketing. This is why you don't buy into that foolishness. You know, it's like I've said it several times in this show. Zili Zhang, I never want to see the dude again. Coming in there pathetically, woefully overweight and out of shape. Ridiculous. And people are paying you millions.
Walrus.
You see? But Parker, like I said, who's come back from a devastating knockout by Joe Joyce. And Joyce was devastatingly knocked out by Zhang, which refutes the damn triangle theory right there between those three, because, you know, I would like to see, you know, Parker and Joyce have a rematch, because maybe Parker will have learned that maybe I was too heavy when I went in there, because I gave the weights. He was like 200 and almost 260 pounds when he went in there and fought Joyce, and his best weight has been in the 240s. And he was 247 when he fought Zili Zhang this weekend. So yeah, he you know, this is the whole point about keeping these guys from losing. You know, padding their records against nobodies and people who ain't even from the sport and stuff like that, selling a dream instead of putting on competitive matches. Because when you put on competitive matches and someone has stakes where they could lose something, fear is a good thing. It'll make you work harder. It'll make you train harder. It'll make you dial in and focus. And if you don't do those things, you will be embarrassed.
Exactly.
But if you're going to overpay somebody,
no more.
right, if you're going to overpay somebody and not give them a challenge and things like that, you're just going to have a bunch of fat cats. And isn't that what we're seeing across the sport? All these inactive fighters and stuff, the Keith Thurmans and even Earl Spence and Wilder's inactive. It's like, these guys, why are you so damn inactive? Why?
Yeah.
We need.
But you got Jake Paul steadily getting fight after fight after fight. He ain't fighting nobody, but y'all wonder why he posted everywhere now.
And people don't realize. I'm sorry, but the Paul brothers, dude, their fights are scripted, man. They're scripted. You can see it.
And getting all the money and all the views and pay-per-views and everything.
Listen.
It's like, but boxing, why don't you want to give us the fight that we want to see? It's just like, I'm going to pay for what I want. What I don't want, I stream it. But I'll pay for what I want, though. But they don't even want to give you the fight. And these guys so scared non-boxing. This is y'all's job, win or lose. You signed up for this. I ain't put the application in your hand. But y'all signed up for this to be fighters, to be entertainers. Win or lose. But if you go out there and really train and fight your butt off, you shouldn't worry about losing. And if you do lose in the process, at least you fought and don't pull an Earl Spence. Go out there with a bad eye, bad hip, bad toe, or whatever. You know, you really coming in to really get it. It'd have been a different fight then, and you wouldn't have all these excuses. but you went out there and laid an egg and got beat. So that's his fault. That ain't ours. It's your fault that you did that.
Exactly. And I'll tell you something else. If he wasn't so busy partying and stuff like that, if he was in the gym making fights, fighting people, huh? When they told him, well, we don't really want to make Bud and you right now. And he's like, well, I want Bud and I don't want nobody else or whatever.
He went on ahead and beat Keith Thurman.
Exactly. Just get rid of him. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying right now the same thing about Benavidez, who wants Canelo, but Canelo don't want him. Well, he's like, his dad's like, well, we'll go up to 175 then. Why? Because there's freaking killers at 175. Stay at 168. Stay at 168. Beat those guys at 168. You got M. Billy. You got Morrell. You got Andre. You got a couple of other guys, Gongora. All these guys. Go beat those guys' asses. Because once you done already beat Plant and Andre. So they're off the list. But when you beat one or two more, they cannot say nothing. But Canelo is ducking. They're saying it now. But I'm just saying, stay vigilant. Do your thing. Don't force him. Don't let him force you up to a weight where you're not even ready for that yet. Because I'm going to tell you something. Gavoskic took a couple of years off after losing to Bitterbeef. Gavoskic was the best light heavyweight. He had beat Adonis Stevenson, remember? He was the best. And Bitterbeef took his ass apart, which means that Bitterbeef ain't no freaking joke himself. So that man took a couple of years off. Now he's slowly come back and he's ready to throw his hat right back in the arena. Well, guess what? If you send Benavidez up there and then that's going to be his first fight, that means, first of all, you're disrespecting Gavoskic for who he is as a fighter. Secondly, Gavoskic going to look at you as, if I smash you, everybody knows I'm back. Why would you play those stakes? And it's no title at stake. There's nothing for you to gain at it whatsoever. And you already saw where Zerto called himself going up to fight Bivol, saying, I'm going to get revenge for Canelo. And Bivol beat the shit out of him.
Embarrassed.
And ran his ass on up to cruiserweight.
Difference, man.
You see? So it's like
Benavidez has been cheating, though, because he's blowing up on them smaller guys. But it's different up there at 175. Like
it sure is.
Them are some real serious killers up there.
Exactly. And even the guys who are not champ, you got guys like Anthony Yard, Joshua Buatsi,
very dangerous,
Craig Richards, those guys. The light heavyweight division is popping too, bro.
Yes. Only person that beat him was the main guys. Those guys are not losing to nobody else. They only lost to the main guys. Whether it's Beaver or Benavidez, that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you said, they send the Benavidez right to the slaughterhouse. They can be mad at me all they want to. These are just gonna be facts, man.
Yeah, let them be mad.
But you're not finna do boo-boo like, hey, if Anthony Yard, if you'd have went up there and challenged Anthony Yard, you're not finna beat him like you beat boo-boo. That's a whole different type of fighter.
It's a whole different fighter. Whole different fighter. And see, I'm going to tell you something. And many people ain't going to like this when they hear this. The UK fighters have jumped ahead of the American fighters now. They have.
Those are facts.
They've jumped ahead across the board. No division in specific I'm speaking of. But you know what it is? It's a shift in the approach to the sport. It's a shift in the training. It's a shift in the character of the men who are participating. And you can see it if you're watching boxing with the correct eye. And these American fighters, they feel entitled and privileged, and they don't feel like they got to prove anything to anybody, and they do the best of their work on social media, not in the ring.
Yeah. Need I say Montana Love? You see how he just got exposed?
Exactly. Exactly.
Exposed.
And you're going to see more of them. This 2024 is going to be that year. The curtain has been pulled back. You're going to be seeing all kinds of lace panties and garter belts and everything that you didn't know these fools was wearing. You getting ready to see them.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be just the painted nails and the capri pants and the damn man purses. You're going to be able to see the real underwear. You began to see it like last year when, what's his name, Little B-Hop got his skirt exposed. Remember when he went down and he had OnlyFans on his little skirt of a trunk, and every time he got his ass whooped, it's funny how he was on the canvas and his ass was up in the air. What's up with that? It's called being exposed. That's what's up with that. But you can come out there and dye your hair, and you can have these designer outfits made for you. You look good, But guess what? When motherfuckers go to the grave, don't they make you look good? They put you in that casket. They put you in the best suit you had and everything. You may not have even worn it while you was alive, but they put it on you when they getting ready to put you in the ground. Yeah, this is exactly what you see.
He look good or she look good. That's what they say too.
Yeah. So, what I said, the UK fighters have pulled ahead of the American fighters. You got this big dummy, Anderson, out there. I'm only 23, trying to join his brother behind bars,
Yeah.
But you got the young heavyweights over there. You got the young heavyweights over there in the UK. Fabio Wardley is getting ready to take on Frazier Clark. These are two young, prosperous heavyweights who are coming together to decide who's going to be the next man to challenge for a heavyweight title. They're not worrying about, well, we're going to stay away from each other and let it marinate and let it build and all. No, they getting ready to fight right now. March 31st, those men are getting ready to fight. And guess what? Jared Anderson can't beat either one of them guys. He can't beat either one of them because both of them are mentally stronger than he is. Both of them. And Fabio Wardley doesn't even have an amateur career. How about that, Francis Ngannou? You see, when you know about the sport of boxing, everything that's being said and put out there, like for these people that really think Joshua did something this weekend. Dude, pipe dreams, But the thing about those pipe dreams, what kind of pipe are they sucking on, Yeah!
Trying to dig.
See, I be putting out, people, they get mad at me, Yeah, Stormybman. They want to make memes, they want to make videos and this and that. But where have I lied to you, bro? Where have I lied?
Nowhere. And I'm gonna tell you this, Storm, before we get off. It's another guy that's floating around at cruiserweight, and this guy real soon will be coming up to heavyweight, in my opinion.
Listen, man.
He's fast. He's young, and he's dangerous.
I've already talked about him. I started talking about him before everybody got wind of the dude. Now everybody want to talk about him like they discovered him. I never said or claimed to discover him. I just watch boxing. And then I start talking about people, ones to watch. Keep your eye out for this one. Keep your eye out for that one. And I say these things, and then all of a sudden something happened, and then you get a little viral moment, and everybody starts swarming on it like, flies on boo-boo. But I've been talking about the guy. I've been talking about him. Yeah.
And like I said, David Benavidez, since you so big and bad coming in at 199, 200, knock on his door if you that guy. I dare you. But Bill was going to stop that, or Editorial, one of those two. One of those two going to stop that train.
Dude.
When I say in this track.
Gavoski going to stop the train. Gavoski, listen.
Yeah.
Teddy Atlas.
I don't know why they would do that, though.
Listen. Because they're fucking stupid, bro. Because they're stupid.
Yeah.
They're letting Canelo dictate their career. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Teddy Atlas used to train Gavoski. He was training him against Bitterbeef. And when Gavoski came back to the corner and told Teddy, hey, man, I don't want no more of this. I got to stop. Teddy was like, oh, we got to go out there. We're firemen and we're this and that. And, you know, giving him the rah-rah speech. And Gavoski tried it a few more rounds and got beat up even worse until they had to stop the fight. But the thing about it, Teddy this week gave an interview on his podcast, and they asked him, what do you think about Benavidez going up to challenge Gavoski? And Teddy said, hey, listen, you know, Benavidez is doing very well. You know, he's coming on strong and everything, but I got Gavoski. I got him because he's worked with him. He know the man. And it's like that's a wrong move. That's a wrong move. You know how wrong that move is? I'm going to give you an example. Back when he was, the IBF champion at welterweight, Kell Brook could have fought a lot of guys, but Eddie Hearn sent him up to fight Triple G.
Yeah, man.
And you know what happened there, right?
Not loose, didn't it?
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
It was good till it wasn't good no more.
That's what's going to happen to Benavidez if he goes up there to fight Gavoski. You heard it here first. And it's actually second coming from me because Teddy already said it. Even though I felt it anyway, you know. But I said this in one of my other lives. I said that Benavidez Sr. is being a dumb man right now. He's letting his emotion get to things because Canelo won't fight them. There have been plenty of fighters who have been ducked throughout boxing history.
But it's more fights for him, though.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said he needs to go out there and fight the other guys. The more of those other guys that he defeats, the worse it looks for Canelo. Because the sanctioning bodies aren't even making Canelo face the other number one contenders. He's the number one contender for the WBC. You got Billy, who's an interim WBC contender. Then you got an IBF, and WBA is Morrell. It's like, man, they're not making Canelo fight any of these guys. Any of them. And he's going to go for Jaime Munguia, who's been campaigning at middleweight, really, and being a human bobblehead doll. He's now going to get that opportunity to fight Canelo, and Canelo is just going to beat him up for another 30, 40, 50 million dollar payday. When are the boxing people going to wake up to this foolishness and stop supporting him because he's Canelo?
His country get to fight free. And his country get to fight for free now. But we still got to pay.
Scams.
That blew my mind when he said his country gets to fight for free, but we got to pay now.
You know why that is? It's like he's flipping you the bird. That's what he's doing. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something. Remember, the original negotiating ploy was he wanted Charlo next, right? He wanted Charlo so bad that's what made him walk away from the PBC deal. But anybody, to a man, can look at Charlo and tell he is in no condition to be in the boxing ring. He's not. So the fact that Canelo is insistent on a fight with the man, that should tell you more about Canelo as a person, with his character. You want to kick a man when he's down. You want to beat a man who ain't even fit for the ring. Why don't you just fucking go dig up the bones of Sugar Ray Robinson and have him propped up in the corner across from you?
Yep.
What the hell is this foolishness?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. It is totally ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and see, what I don't like is these people, they come out here, he's Canelo, you're just a Canelo hater. No, we want to see him fight his contemporaries. He's not fighting his contemporaries. When the Charlo twins and he were all at the weight division, and Andre were all at the weight division where they could fight each other, he didn't want to fight them then.
Nothing.
And when Charlo was last looking good in the ring, he didn't want to fight him then.
And if Boo Boo would have beat Benavidez, he would have still ducked him too.
Of course.
Yeah, that guy, he's just. I mean, like you said, it's blatantly in our face with the WBC and Silly Man and Canelo. It's just like I mean, when you go to Leonard Ellaby with Tank, you try to force us, we'll drop the belt. You can't force us to fight no with nobody's contenders. It's like, but these are the rules that's laid out and they don't apply to you guys.
Exactly. And what about the fighters? And I've said this. Man. I've said this so many times over my last few streams. What about the fighters who have toiled their entire lives and careers and are deserving of a shot at becoming a world champion? You got 4 title belts out there, and they don't get a chance to fight nobody for a belt? It's like that is what you're telling me is this is only by committee. This is only by selection. It's a selective process, and everybody else is just a participant, but you don't necessarily, your number will never be called. That's bullshit.
Yep. Straight corruption.
That's bullshit. And see, it doesn't help when you got somebody like that Turk over there in Saudi who is like, you know, he's paying exuberant amounts of money for guys to come together on those promotional cards and events to fight, but you're rewarding bad behavior.
And overpaying.
And you're overpaying, and you're playing like you got a video game with live people.
Yep.
You're putting on what you want to see, but you're not putting on what's for the best interest of the sport.
Yeah.
And notice how Canelo is not over there. You know why? Because Canelo doesn't want to conform to the fact that even though that they can afford to pay someone else, he still doesn't want to risk his own position. He doesn't want to risk losing. And isn't that what I originally said? These guys don't want to be in a position to have some type of threat to threaten where they are and what they have. That's Canelo.
Yeah.
He's not the only one, but he's the major one.
Yeah. You got Big Canelo and Little Canelo, a.k.a. Tank.
And if Tank is going to fight...
If you're in those power positions to make the fight, that's the only reason why I hold them accountable like that. Y'all are in a power position to make the fight, and the guys that want to fight you, that's not in a position to have the power that you have, you don't want to fight them. But they are your biggest rivals, your biggest money, and your biggest contemporaries. That's Canelo, David Benavidez, that's Tank, and Devin Haney. What are we talking about? But this is boxing that they give us.
And then they
fights that can change the whole outlook of sports. Period.
And then they put smear campaigns on the guys who are trying to fight the good fights and the best fights. Like a Devin. You know, Devin is trying to make the good fights and the best fights. But they don't want Devin in there, so they smear him. They try to say things like, oh, he can't punch, and oh, he ain't got no chin, or whatever, and things like that. But the last time I checked, I think he has recovered now, but Regis Prograis at the end of that fight had so many knots on top of his head, I thought he looked like Martin from the Martin show when Martin faced Tommy Hearns. He had all them knots on his head at the post-fight press conference, had got dropped and got wobbled a couple times in the fight. And then you want to talk about that he ain't got no chin, but he ain't never been off his feet. But Lomachenko was knocked off his feet by the same guy that they based that he ain't got no chin on, Linares. Linares put Lomachenko on his ass. He just wobbled Devin at the end of a round where Devin went back, got his shape back, and went back out there and continued to win the fight. So it's like, what are you trying to do? It doesn't help when you got people like Tim Bradley and these announcers out there foolishly saying stuff to the people. And then when they try to, the narratives that they try to shift the people, if it doesn't necessarily go that way, then they'll try to come back and clean it up by saying stuff, well, I knew, this and that. No, this is why I talked about just a couple weeks ago when Raymond Ford was fighting. I was like, there was nobody talking about Raymond Ford, bro. But I was talking about him. And guess what? He won his world title the right way. He was in there with another guy in a dog fight that it could have went to either man, but he stopped the guy, got him out of there, and won his title. That's something nobody will ever be able to take away from him. It'll be one for the record books, the history books. It'll be one for him because he know he really got it in himself to deal with things. And the fact that when you come and take it away, it means everything. But when you just pick up a belt that was laying on the ground, it was vacant, nobody, you fought a nobody for it. Oh yeah, I'm a world champion now. That's why I call the guys titleless until they become undisputed, or if you become a champion by having a reign like O'Shaquie Foster right now. He's a champion. He won that title from Vargas. Then he went out there and defended, and he won that, and then he defended again, and he won that. He is reigning now. You see what I'm saying? And not just fighting a bunch of pick'ems. There's a difference.
And I want to say something since I want to ask you a question. Then I'm gonna go. We finna go eat pizza. I still got everybody getting dressed.
That sounds good.
Wasn't Tyson Fury? Yeah, man. It's Sunday. Wasn't Tyson Fury knocked down before a few times? So hold that. Wasn't David Benavidez knocked down with a jab? Okay. Wasn't Floyd Mayweather wobbled before? Okay. Wasn't Canelo wobbled by Cotto's brother early in his career? But they never say those guys have no chin. Wasn't Lomachenko knocked down? But Devin gets wobbled, and he has no chin. And it's never happened since.
Dude,
you said,
it's crazy.
It's a smear campaign, and it's hey, look over here, but don't look what I'm doing with this hand. It's crazy.
I know, right?
And I want to say one last thing. If you go back and watch Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz fight, Leo Santa Cruz actually dropped Tank. I think it was the 6th round, but they didn't call it a knockdown. I dare anybody to go back and watch.
I remember that.
Tell me that wasn't a
knockdown. Remember that.
When you punch and somebody falls, ain't that a knockdown? But they didn't call it.
Yep.
But they didn't call it.
Sure didn't.
But
I remember that.
I enjoyed it, King. Hey, I'm going to still be locked into the show while we're in the car. I enjoyed it. Peace to the chat. Peace to you, Sensei. Thank you, my brother. Peace and love. Hey, y'all call in and get back to it. Sensei, it was a blessing chopping up with you.
Hey, thank man. You, I appreciate you, bro. And don't be a stranger. Call again sometime, bro.
Yes, sir. Love and respect. Thank you.
All right. Peace to you. All right. That's the brother, Mansa Musa, calling in. Telling it like it is, man. Telling it like it is. And I appreciate that. See, that's somebody that's been watching the sport with the correct eye as well, because it's like you can see the foolishness, man. Smoke and mirrors. They puff all that smoke out in front of your face and they stick some mirrors up out there so you be looking and like, is that a reflection or is that something from a different direction? It's like, they be messing with us, man. I'm telling you. Man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Look at this dude coming in here. Man, you could go you can find something else to talk about, dude. Your comment is not appreciated here, man. Really. Get up out of here with that foolishness. All of these fighters out here at one point in their career or something has faced or fought someone that's been older or whatever. You know what I mean? What was his name? Gamboa, when Tank fought him, huh? Was he past it? Huh? Think he had a busted Achilles or something, didn't he? Get out of here, man. You're talking to somebody that knows far more about this than you probably have lived on this earth, man. Get up out of here with that foolishness. But you get to talking about somebody because they on the nuts of someone else. You then you want to come in and take shots, snide remarks. I'm not about that over here. I'm not about that over here. But there's plenty of places you can go. Yeah, that's right, Tay-Tay. I'm on it. I'm on it. Salute to the brother, Mind of Mansa Musa, out there with that Cash App donation. We appreciate you, Mansa Musa, and appreciate your call and your contributions to the show this morning, man. Appreciate you so much. And you guys enjoy that pizza, man. I wish I was having some pizza. Whoa, I wish I was having some pizza. Yeah, Copper. See, people don't talk about that kind of thing. They don't talk about that kind of thing. But that's okay. Stormy is here, though. Stormy been here the whole time. I'm not in the dark on those things. Oh, here go Tay-Tay. New York pizza is the best. Laugh out loud. Now stop it. See, Tay-Tay, you was doing all right till you want to bring up that subject. It ain't. But we can always have a contest, huh? Send me some New York slices, and I'll send you some Chicago slices, and hey, we can critique. I be telling Blue Blood that all the time. I'll go over there, Blue Blood be talking about something, and as soon as he give me a moment to say something about some food or pizza, I'll be like, that's why we got that better pizza, Blue Blood. He be like, they gonna storm me talking. But I tell you, man, it's like, Mansa Musa touched on some good subjects there. And again, we don't have to question anything. It's right there in front of us. It's right there in front of us. And AJ beating up on dudes who don't even belong in the sport of boxing. Oh, he looked great. He's back. You know, he's got the old killer instinct back. I'm like, dude, he killed a guy that in his second pro fight. What are you talking about? This guy don't even really belong in the ring with him, but they paid him because he came from another sport. They drug him over here. It's like, hey, put these gloves on. He was like, oh, they feel a little funny. They kind of heavier than the ones I usually use. It's like, I don't worry about it. No kicking now, okay? And hold your chin like this. Fat, yo, he's knocked out. He had never been knocked out in the other sport. It's like, what are you doing, man? And it's like, woo, AJ's back. I'm like, man, this is some bull. Y'all will fall for anything. I'm telling you, man. You will fall for anything. And it's like, I just told the story earlier. Floyd carried Conor McGregor to the 10th round. His defense is so good, he ain't have to worry about Conor landing anything unless Conor decided to throw a kick in for good measure, but he didn't do that, thankfully. So when Floyd was like, okay, I'm tired of playing with this fool now. Fitted it, bop, boop, boop, and McGregor's all over the ring wobbling and stuff. I'm like, he don't even know how to slip, move, bob, weave, parry, none of that, huh? And it's over, just like that. Just like Ngannou didn't know what to do. When AJ hit him and dropped him that first time, he was looking like, what was that? Was that legal? Yeah, was it legal? Let me show you how legal it is. Second round, round 2, whack! Ngannou said, shit. Man. Man, Ngannou, they asked him in the post-fight press conference. They said, hey, would you like to take a rematch with AJ? And Ngannou was like, she. Like, they said, are you sure? Because, you know, maybe the ref counted a little too fast or something. Maybe the sport was going a little too fast. Man, listen, you know he from Cameroon, but he learned how to say one thing in the gym after getting hit by AJ like that. They said, Francis, are you sure? Francis said, she. Trignoti says Canelo fighting Munguia is a fight nobody asked for. He has manipulated the mainstream media to kissing his behind to the fact he got on the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne the God let him off the hook. Copper says, Stormy, remember I said, did y'all see the look on his face? Hey coach, what about this shit here? Stick and move. Stick and move. Yeah. Man, let me tell you something. You don't play boxing, huh? They've always said that for generations. You don't play boxing. You do not play boxing. I think it's time for us to hear from my brother, the Focus Ball, huh?
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Man, let me tell you, bro. You guys are so funny in the chat out there. Hey, we gonna have to have a pizza, contest or something, man. Bring the best slice from Chicago up against the best slice from the South, up against the best slice from New York. So I can trounce on all y'all, and I'm gonna eat all the pieces, huh? Because I'm hungry and fat like that. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's what's up. That's what's up. But I got food cooking this morning, man. I got my, green beans and white potatoes, cooking. Man, I'm gonna have some baked chicken, man. Huh? That's how Stormybman do it. You know what I mean? I don't be messing around. I have to show you guys, one of my spreads one time, so you guys can see what I be doing, huh? Because I don't be messing around. You understand? I got fat for a reason. I didn't get fat because some woman made me fat. I made my damn self fat. You know what I'm saying? That's what's really up, huh? That's how Stormybman do it, huh? Making it the most of the most. Yeah! Yeah, so we're going to get ready to get on up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came out. Cash App donations, the phone call from Mansa Musa, man. But we're going to get on up out of here, And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody out there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It is what it is. We're going to go. Shout out to the mighty LDBC.
What do you think of me, girls?
As good as any white man.